Hello and welcome back to the Art of Splatoon, a video series that's here to cover everything from the basics to the most advanced techniques and tricks in the game. Today's episode will cover Salmon Run, so let's get right into it. Firstly, what is Salmon Run? Well, Salmon Run is a co-op mode in which you and your teammates defeat Salmonids, which are salmon-like creatures from the polluted waters surrounding the work sites, and collect their golden eggs for your boss, Mr. Grizz, as well as power eggs for extra profits. There is a set quota for golden eggs, and going over that will get you extra rewards at the end of your shift. A shift is a set of 3 waves of Salmonids, each lasting 100 seconds. The power eggs you collect from the Salmonids will also go into your payout, so try to rack them up too. If you look at your back, you'll probably notice the life preserver. This has a few functions. Mainly though, it is your ink tank. You can view how much ink you have left by looking at it. If you have 75% or more of it, you can throw a splat bomb, and the little red sub-weapon light will be on here just like the standard ink tank. The life preserver also holds golden eggs and the egg launcher and cannon. If a coworker is splatted, you can revive them by shooting their life preserver. The life preserver makes it possible to be regenerated without a respawn drone. Your little ghost will be able to hide in the puddle of ink inside your life preserver until your teammates are able to shoot enough ink at you to have your body regenerated. If everyone in your work crew gets splatted, your shift will end early, so try to keep your teammates alive or at least bring them back when you can. Something really important to know is when depositing golden eggs into the basket, you can press A to drop them in up close, or you can press A from a bit further away to launch one into the basket using the launcher. Just be wary of the fact that it uses just as much ink as a splat bomb in order to launch one, so it's pretty risky to use if there are a bunch of Salmonids near you. However, when launching eggs, there is a small 100 damage explosion that you can use to take out small fries and chums, which I'll get into in just a second. There are 3 main Salmonid types, as well as some extra special cases, so I'm going to go over each of them before I get into any more details. Lesser Salmonids. These guys are your average Salmonids. They come in high numbers to try to overwhelm you and your coworkers. There are 4 types of lessers: chums, small fries, cohawks, and snatchers. Chums are as basic as they come. They just walk up to players and try to whack them with their frying pans. They can get annoying, but splatting them is pretty easy. Small fries are the smallest Salmonids out there. They move pretty quick and they have very low health, but their fast speed and high numbers, as well as their small hitboxes, can make it so that they can splat you when you least expect it. They try to whack you with little spoons too, like little ankle biters. They're hilarious. Cohawks are the big guys. They have large frying pans that when hit hurt pretty bad and knock you back a ways. They do move pretty slowly, but they do have a ton of health, so taking these out is super important. Finally are snatchers. These guys are similar in size to chums, but they don't attack you. Instead, they have one goal in mind: to pick up golden eggs and take them back under the water with them. So you gotta try to shoot them before they can make it back to the water. Boss Salmonids. These guys are your above average Salmonids. They often have some kind of special technology that they use to take you and your coworkers out, or a rare unique species of Salmonid with special abilities. Almost every boss Salmonid will drop 3 golden eggs when splatted, so let's quickly go over them all. Scrapper. This is one of the more basic bosses. This is a chum driving a sort of vehicle that is completely protected from the front and sides. In order to take one of these guys out, you need to shoot it from behind, either by sneaking around quickly, which is hard, or by shooting at it in the front so that it breaks down. Then you can go behind it without it being able to turn and go after you until it repairs itself. Salmonid. This boss is a chum driving a sort of UFO that creates a protective barrier underneath it to protect its fellow Salmonids. If you go under the barrier, the Salmonid will come crashing down to try to crush you, so you need to quickly go under and come back out before it crashes down on you. You can also use the height that it gives after it goes back up to stand on it and shoot at things from a better vantage point. Just don't take too long or else he'll pull out a soup ladle and swipe you off. You can also make these guys slam down on other Salmonids and even boss Salmonids to take out. So they're pretty useful that way. And then one other thing to keep in mind with them is that they do spawn lessers out from underneath them, so they can make it easy to get overwhelmed. Fish Stick. This boss consists of a bunch of small fries that are able to fly into the stage with a pole that will drill into the ground. After drilling in, they will fly around and spray their ink and paint the stage for fellow Salmonids. In order to take one of these out, all you have to do is shoot down each of the little small fries. You can do this if you have enough range, or you can ink the side of the pole to climb up and shoot them. They do move pretty quickly, but if you just continually shoot in the same spot with most weapons, you should be able to get all of them pretty easily to get those golden eggs. Flyfish. Possibly the most annoying and powerful of the typical bosses in the game. These small fries have crazy eyes and are looking to constantly launch missiles at you. In order to take one of these out, you need to throw splat bombs into the baskets where they fire missiles from while they're open. It takes 2 splat bombs to get one of these guys, and it can be really hard to do when there are tons of other Salmonids coming at you. A few tips for taking these out is that firstly, several of the special weapons can take these out, and you can actually take one of these guys out with a single splat bomb if you get it to blow up on a ledge nearby to the flyfish. You can also shoot them very easily with the Eggstra if you are lucky enough to have one, and certain specials or cannons you can use to shoot directly at the middle and take it out in just one shot. Drizzler.
I'm very poppin', y'all!
This chum has an indestructible umbrella that it can use to fly up and glide down and protect itself. It also has a cannon that launches a special kind of torpedo device that after a short time will shoot up and summon an ink storm. They are generally really good at applying small amounts of damage to you and your coworkers, so it's usually a pretty good idea to go after them while you can. The torpedo device can actually be shot down before it flies up, and it does a lot of damage, so you can take out the Drizzler even through its umbrella. Or you can take out big crowds of lesser Salmonids and even other bosses with it. So use them to help you out, just like with the Salmon Lid. Stinger. This guy sits on top of a pile of pots, and it's a pretty big tower. The Stinger will lock on to the furthest player from it and fire a laser beam called the Stingray that can go through walls and solid objects. And it can be pretty hard to avoid when you're already dealing with so many other Salmonids. It can be hard to reach because they always stay at the shoreline. In order to take one of these out, you have to shoot each of the pots so that he falls into the fire beneath the pots, and then he'll explode and drop 3 golden eggs for you. Steel Eel. Chums operate these guys from the back. They are long and invincible except for the back, so you gotta shoot the operator to take them out. Once one of these guys starts chasing you, they will not change their target until you get splatted or they get taken out. So it's usually a good idea to have another coworker take them out for you if they're locked onto you. Make sure to lead them close to the basket so that when it drops its golden eggs, they'll be nice and close to the basket for you and your coworkers to deposit quickly. Big Shot. These guys are super annoying. They have a ton of health and they really never leave the shoreline. When they come in for the first time, one will toss a cannon onto the stage, and they will carry cannonballs with them. They'll walk up to the cannon and shove a ball into it and launch it towards the egg basket. When the cannonball hits the ground, it will leave sort of a wave breaker wave on the ground, bounce up, then land again, leaving another wave breaker wave, and then break. Going to the shore can be hard sometimes, so leaving a few of these guys unattended can be detrimental. Once you take one out, they'll drop their golden eggs, and at any time, you can sort of hijack their cannon in order to launch golden eggs toward the basket for your teammates to pick up and get into the basket from a much shorter distance. Steelhead. These bosses are covered in steel-plated armor that you won't be able to shoot. However, the Steelhead has one glaring weakness. The way they attack you is by throwing bombs that they fill with ink on the top of their heads before launching. While they are filling their bombs with ink, you can shoot them to make them explode and take them out, as well as any surrounding Salmonids. Make sure to lure these guys towards the basket too, so you don't have as far to travel to take the eggs to the basket. Maws. Watch out for the bobber moving along the ground. What's lurking beneath is not something you want to be near. The maws will pop up from the bobber and eat any inklings or octolings who fail to get out of the way in time. Shooting them is often futile because of just how much health they have. But there is a fairly easy way to take out the maws. Lure the maws near you, and when it's about to pop up, run away and toss a splat bomb so that it eats that instead of you. Eating a splat bomb is probably not a good idea, as you can surely see 4 maws. But hey, you can get your golden eggs and make your company happy, and you get to walk away without being eaten. Flipper Flopper. These Salmonids are almost similar to dolphins. They fly up into the air and shoot a circle on the ground that is similar to a splat zone. This is their target zone. Any employees caught in the circle when the Flipper Flopper comes crashing down will be sorry. The splash is enough to splat you in one shot. If you ink the circle enough to capture it, however, similar to the splat zone, the circle will switch to your ink color, and when the Flipper Flopper comes crashing down, it will lose its armor and flop around for a bit where it is vulnerable to shoot down. One thing to know with these guys is that you still can shoot them before they come crashing down, but their armor can slow it down. If you have something like a Hydra Splatling, you can take them out from the sky pretty easily and quickly. Goldie. This is the last of the quote-unquote standard bosses. It's also probably the most basic in many cases. The Goldie is essentially a worshipped icon in the world of Salmonids. They are much smarter and stronger than other Salmonids. They only appear during special waves, particularly when it gets foggy during some of the night waves, which I'll get into shortly. They can drop anywhere from 1 to 10 golden eggs, so luring them to the basket is essential. They can also appear during the special night wave where gushers appear themselves. The Goldie here hides in one of the gushers. You have to find it by looking at the intensity of the light and the height of the nearby gushers. Once found, the Goldie will pick another gusher to hide in, and while on its way, everyone can shoot it to get it to drop golden eggs along the way. It has a ton of health, and you can tell kind of how much health it has left based on how big it is, because it will shrink as you deal damage to it. Once you finish it off, it will drop 3 more golden eggs, and another Goldie will be able to be found in one of the gushers. It is also seen when glowflies appear, and they are very strong here. Special cases. During certain waves, night will suddenly fall over the stage, and there are some really strange occurrences here. I'll quickly list all of them here because some of the special Salmonid types can be found here. Fog can sometimes fall, which makes it hard to see and is typically a bit more difficult because finding bosses on the shoreline can be hard, especially for things like big shots and flyfish. Goldie seeking, which has gushers appear, like I said, and be able to be shot and then start spewing ink. Salmonids and Goldies can come out of them and drop a lot of golden eggs when you deal a lot of damage to them. Glowflies can fly around you and make all the Salmonids target you in a frenzy, so have your coworkers shoot them before they get to you. You can also stick to walls to evade the Salmonids while glowflies are around you. Just be careful because the Salmonids can start jumping at you after a short while. Quahog Charge, where cannons will appear and you can shoot lots of Salmonids and bosses while your teammates run golden eggs to the basket. The cannons can take out almost any boss at a really long range. You can take out flyfish, steelheads, big shots, Salmonid stingers, and more. Just be careful when it comes to maws. You can get them, but if they target you, get out of the cannon. Your coworkers should be focused on splatting maws. You are non-invincible in the cannon and you can't recover ink while in it. But don't leave them unattended for too long because there are so many Quahawks during these waves that the cannons are pretty much the only effective way to clear them. Tornado, where a cage with a lot of golden eggs will appear, can be broken and then take eggs to the basket. And a rock will fall over the low tide basket, so since the normal basket is so far away, Mr. Grizz will make each egg count as 2, which is really nice for getting a lot of eggs. It's best to form kind of an assembly line for transporting eggs. Just be careful as the Salmonids come flying in from above out of the tornado. The Mothership is a special case. It's kind of a boss, but also kind of its own thing. When the Mothership appears, it will start flying just off the shore, out of range for 90% of the weapons, and it will launch Chinooks, which are a special kind of Salmonids that fly into the stage carrying special salmon spawning coolers that they will drop off, then fly away. The Mothership has essentially an unlimited supply of these coolers, so it's important to take them out throughout the wave. And it's best to take the Chinooks up before they land because they will each drop a singular golden egg when you splat them. The coolers don't take many hits to break either, so even if you don't take it and the Chinook out before it lands, it's still a good idea to break that so that less Salmonids will swarm you, but don't get too out of your way to break them. The main focus should be on the Chinooks for the golden eggs. After a little while, the Mothership will begin moving in towards the egg basket. Once it reaches the basket, it will extend its tube to the basket, latch on, where it will begin siphoning golden eggs back, so stop it by shooting at it with your coworkers. You can't put any eggs in while the Mothership is latched on either, so you have to take it out quick, otherwise you might have a hard time meeting your quota. The Mothership will come in one more time later in the wave, and this time, after knocking it back, it will fall back into the sea, so the rest of the wave will be smooth sailing. Mudmouth. These things are special. They only appear in the special night waves. They also only appear where gushers are. When they appear, you'll notice their very large, gaping mouths. They will spawn lesser Salmonids out of their mouths too. If you throw bombs or explosive shots, or use certain specials on them, you will hurt them. It takes several bombs to splat one of these things. They are very strange creatures. They remind me a bit of the tar monster from Scooby-Doo when I was little. Golden Mudmouth, very similar to the standard Mudmouth, also only appearing during that same special night wave. However, these ones spawn quahawks out of their mouths, and when you blow them up, they will drop significantly more golden eggs. These things can get pretty scary if left unattended because a lot of quahawks can be detrimental, but the golden eggs they drop are really nice. Griller. The griller is unique, similar to the Mudmouth, only appearing during the special night waves. The griller is basically a grill with a salmonid tail sticking out of the back of it. They have a laser that they use to lock onto their target, and similarly to the steel eel, they will pick a target and stick with it until either its target is splatted or it is. In order to take one of these guys out, you have to shoot the tail that's peeking out. It needs to take quite a bit of damage, and once it does, it will be stunned, and more tails will pop out, and they'll start spinning around. It won't be able to move. Then everyone can shoot at it and splat it. It drops 5 golden eggs too, which is more than the standard 3. The griller will splat any employee upon contact, which can be really scary, especially when you notice how many small fries like to hang around them. Something like a Sploosh-O-Matic is really good at dealing with the huge swarms of small fries, as well as dealing lots of damage quickly to the griller tail. That's it for the special night waves and special occurrences. Next up is King Salmonids. The King Salmonids are the biggest, strongest, most powerful, and most menacing out of all the Salmonids, except maybe the flyfish. They only appear during this thing called an Eggstra wave, which is an extra wave that can potentially occur after the 3rd wave of Salmon Run if your salmometer is full enough and your coworkers are as well. Basically, the more full the meters of you and your coworkers are, the more likely to get an Eggstra wave you are. The meter will actually change shape to match which king is currently in rotation. When an Eggstra wave occurs, your egg launcher will be turned into the egg cannon, which you can use to launch golden eggs at salmonids as well as the kings to deal massive damage. So taking out normal bosses in the Eggstra wave is just as important as taking out the king. Once you defeat the king, the Eggstra wave will be cleared. You will also earn scales, which are a currency you can use to purchase things such as alternate work suits, gear, locker decorations, stickers, and banners. There are 3 types of scales: bronze, silver, and gold. The bronze scales are the most common, silver are slightly less, and gold are the rarest. In the scale shop, you will only be able to purchase things as they're written, so you can't, for instance, trade gold scales for silver scales or anything like that. You'll get scales regardless of whether you beat the king or not as well, so even just encountering the king is good. The first king is Kohozuna. You'll probably encounter him first. He's basically a giant fat salmonid with the ability to do a splashdown on you and your coworkers. He has quite a bit of health, so shooting him with your main weapons might not work out so well, so you use the egg cannons to take him out. Ouroboros. This king salmonid is really long. He floats up out of the water and has a bomb generator in his mouth, where he will build up a bomb and launch it onto the stage, very similar to a booyah bomb. To take Ouroboros out, the best strategy is to shoot him in his face, so that his bomb generator will explode the bomb in his mouth to do massive damage. However, you can shoot him anywhere on his body to deal damage, so as long as you're dealing damage, you'll do fine. Megalodontia. The biggest king of them all, he attacks somewhat similarly to a Moz, but his warning circle is quite a bit bigger, as you can probably see. When he comes out, you better watch out, because he will chomp everything in his way, including other salmonids and bosses. Once he's up, you might notice this big red spot on his back. This is his weak spot, so shoot at this to deal damage to him. Megalodontia has a lot of health, so it's very important to shoot and launch eggs at his weak spot. Triumvirate. This is a special battle where all 3 of the king salmonids will attack at once. They will have a reduced health bar, which is really nice, but having all 3 of these big guys on the offense at the same time is pretty threatening and hard to beat. Some tips for beating the Triumvirate is A. Lure Megalodontia to chomp on Ouroboros' bomb to make it explode in his mouth. And B. Megalodontia, just use him to take out so many of the little bosses. With that, there's all the different types of salmonids and special waves. There's quite a few, so don't worry if you're new and don't understand all of them quite yet. So let's get more into how Salmon Run works. The Grizzco lobby has a few similar features to the standard lobby. I'll go over most of these features here. First, you can go up to this radio where Mr. Grizz talks to you to start a shift or private job. You can use L for this just like in the standard lobby, or you can go over to this stand and claim rewards and or purchase things with your scales. You can also go to this book to view the Salmon Run manual, and you can replay tutorials from there. You can go to these lockers to change your work suit. You can go over here to access the practice range, where you can practice throwing eggs into the basket with these fake golden eggs. Splat Salmonid dummies access this trunk that allows you to practice with any of the current weapons in rotation, and access the Grizzco terminal, where you can access your shift history and save/download job scenarios. But more on those later. I'll quickly go over the results screen here. You can see how many golden eggs and power eggs your crew got. You can see how many golden eggs you specifically put in the basket and how many you helped with in the parentheses. You can see how many power eggs you collected and how many times you revived coworkers, as well as how many times you were revived by coworkers. Before starting a shift, you can view which stage is currently in rotation, as well as the 4 loner weapons. There will be 4 weapons chosen at random for each shift schedule, so be sure to check for a weapon and stage you like. After launching into the stage, Grizzco will loan you one of the 4 weapons that you can use during the wave. You don't get to pick the majority of the time, but you'll get a different weapon each wave, with there being 3 waves in total for the most part. You have splat bombs with every weapon and are gifted 2 random specials from the available Salmon Run special pool. The specials available are as follows: Killer Whale 5.1, Inkjet, Reef Slider, Wave Breaker, Triple Ink Strike, Booyah Bomb, Crab Tank, Triple Splashdown, and Kraken Royale. Use these when you're in a pinch or if you need to clear out a crowd, because it can get pretty intense and overwhelming at higher hazard levels especially. Hazard levels are basically the difficulty level of your Salmon Run shift. The hazard level is based on the pay grade of all 4 of the workers. Your pay grade is also based on how well you do. More golden eggs in the basket and more power eggs collected basically equals a bigger increase in pay grade. You can also encounter this special hazard level max notice if you get really into Salmon Run, where the hazard level will be obviously as hard as it can be, and it will be pretty difficult. Grizzco Weapons. These are special modified weapons by Grizzco to be more powerful or extreme versions of their normal counterparts. They are only available in Salmon Run, so I'll go over them right here. The Grizzco Blaster. This one is extreme. If you know the Clash Blaster and its rapid fire rate, you haven't seen anything. This blaster shoots faster than most shooters. Its damage isn't super high, but that's okay. It paints very well and it can deal quite a bit of damage in a short amount of time because of just how rapidly it shoots. Grizzco Brella. This is a modified Splat Brella. Probably Splat Brellas that have been trashed because this Brella has no canopy. But that's okay, you won't need it, I promise. You can hold ZR to fire this one very quickly, just like with the blaster, much faster than any other Brella, and with much more paint output as well. Damage isn't super high once again, but its fire rate and paint are unmatched. Grizzco Charger. This is a modified bamboozler, and unlike every other charger, you don't actually need to charge it up. It is fully charged as soon as you touch the ZR button. Just tap it to shoot, and it does a lot of damage too. The only thing you need to look out for is how much ink it uses, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem if you can just do this. Grizzco Slosher. This is a modified sloshing machine. It's really slow and it can only shoot 4 times on a full ink tank, but it has some of the craziest damage in the game. Not to mention it has special piercing shots that can go through tons of salmonids, even special armored ones such as the flyfish or the steelhead. Direct hits can one-shot most salmonids, and unlike the standard sloshing machines, shots will continue flying even after landing a direct hit. The range is pretty good as well, not to mention how the shots aren't affected by gravity until they reach their designated range value. So you can send one of these shots to take out a whole school of salmonids at once. Grizzco Stringer, a modified tri-stringer, but it shoots 9 arrows at once. It uses a bit more ink, it's a tad slow, and the arrows don't line up so nice, but landing all the arrows at once is enough to one-shot just about every boss. Dealing over 1000 damage per shot is not a common achievement for a weapon, but this Grizzco Stringer has definitely achieved it. Grizzco Splatana. This is a modified Splatana stamper. It is quite slow, and it has almost no range, so you pretty much have to use this as a purely melee weapon. And it has really good damage to keep up with that. Not to mention, charging it up is strong enough to one-shot any boss in the game, and on top of that, can pierce just like the Grizzco Slosher, so you can one-shot flyfish, steelheads, and other things with your charge slash. Also, it has a dash slash that is, like, absolutely insane. You will go way forward and obliterate anything in your path if you're good with it. Grizzco Dualies. These modified Splat Dualies have the power to deal massive damage with their dodge rolls. The standard fire and turret fire are kind of lacking, but do good enough. But the dodge rolls are where it's at with these dualies. You can dodge roll up to 9 times in a row before getting stuck in place for a bit, which is the most out of any dualie by far. Not to mention, when you do a dodge roll, the dodge rolls themselves deal damage, and not just a little amount of damage either. You can just dodge roll through crowds of Salmonids to just annihilate everything. Grizzco Roller. This is a modified dynamo roller. It has pretty standard horizontal flick for a normal roller, but its vertical flick takes absolutely forever, but again has pretty long range and high damage, so sometimes it can be worth it. However, with the Grizzco Roller, the main thing is that it specializes in its roll mode. When rolling with this weapon, you go very fast, and with its high damage, you can roll over just about anything pretty quickly. I love how its engine helps propel you to go so fast. It sounds like a race car. And with that, there's all the Grizzco weapons. They are all overpowered in at least one aspect, with something that makes it feel a bit slower or weaker to balance it out. But overall, they are much better than any normal weapon. Mr. Chris sure knew what he was doing when he created these. After a shift, you can earn bonuses off of the bonus meter for collecting more power eggs and golden eggs. To claim your bonuses, all you have to do is walk over to this counter, as I mentioned before. However, I just wanted to add that there's actually a second way to earn scales here. You can earn them through the bonus meter, which is really nice. If you're a completionist, it's going to take you a really long time to get all the Salmon Run rewards. I don't know, but I've been working on that since the game came out. I still do not have everything, so good luck to you on that. Jumping around a little bit, you might notice how at the start of each wave, the tide level might change. You can tell what the tide level will be based on this silhouette indicator on the bottom of the screen. If it's high tide, the level on the indicator will be really high, regular tide will be a little in the middle, and low tide will have a much lower water level. Also unique to low tide is that the basket will actually be moved closer to the shore, so you don't have to run the eggs quite as far. Salmon Run also has a few limited time events. Firstly, I'll go over Eggstra Work, which is a special mode separate from the standard Salmon Run. Shifts for Eggstra Work last for 5 waves instead of the standard 3. And you get to pick which weapon you want to use when playing with friends, and you'll keep the same weapon throughout all 5 waves, regardless if you choose your weapon or not. Every time you start a shift for Eggstra Work, you might notice that some of the Salmonids come out of the water at the same time and spot each time. This is no coincidence. In Eggstra Work, every single wave has the same set scenario, which is basically the code for the wave for which Salmonids appear and when. Going on a bit of a side tangent, you can use the Grizzco terminal in the Grizzco lobby to access your last 50 jobs, to view the stats of yourself and your coworkers. And you can save the job scenarios to use them later in private jobs, or send them to friends, similar to replays and replay codes in the regular lobby. A private job is something you have access to under freelance within the Grizzco menu. You can join up with friends in freelance, but in a private job the host gets to select the stage, hazard level, a set scenario, and everyone gets to choose which weapons they want to use. It's a pretty neat feature. Heading back to Eggstra Work, the top players who get the top 50%, 20%, and 5% of golden egg counts will get special rewards, and everyone who participates will get something, so be sure to at least try it out. After Eggstra Work is over, you can check this board in the lobby to see your placement and claim your prize. Let's talk about the last big event, Big Run. Big Run is when Salmonids invade the cities and regular battle stages. When a big run is occurring, you'll notice the sky turns red and there are some creepy sounds in the background of the plazas. Deep Cut will announce the big run before it happens, as there are several reports on the movements Salmonids are making, so be ready to fend for the city of Inkopolis and Splatsville. During Big Run, typically one of the battle stages will be overrun by Salmonids for an entire weekend. So splat them, defeat the kings, and collect the golden eggs to drive them back into their murky green waters. The best performers will get rewards as well. There is a type of quota for each trophy. If you and your coworkers reach the required amount of eggs for a specific trophy, you'll get that trophy at the end, but if you raise that to a higher trophy level, you'll get that trophy instead, so try to aim for the gold. Next, I'm going to go over some tips for doing well in Salmon Run. First, you'll want to lure the bosses that chase you as close to the basket as possible. This makes it easier to get golden eggs into the basket sooner. You can also splat bosses near the big shot cannons to launch eggs toward the basket. Just know that you can't throw eggs into the cannon, you have to actually put them in the cannon by going up close to it. And the cannons don't typically put eggs directly in the basket. They can, but it's important to have teammates near the basket to put them in for you if you're launching a lot of eggs. Before a wave begins or after one ends, you shouldn't waste time standing around. You should try to ink the ground and walls as much as you can. Having map control by inking it is super easy and important for Salmon Run. With weapons like Slosher, Explasher, or Aerospray that are good at inking walls, you should be doing that when you can, because in Salmon Run, the walls are just as important as the ground. Bosses that appear on the shore or don't move in much are easy to overlook, but try not to do it though. They can get overwhelming really quickly. Big shot waves, stinger rays, drizzler storms, and flyfish missiles are able to take you out very easily if you don't pay enough attention to them. However, when you move out to the shore, unless you have a weapon that can ink under its feet easily, you should try to create a line of ink that you can follow back towards the egg basket so that you don't cut off your own route back to the basket. With weapons like the Hydra Splatling, Tri-Stringer, and E-Liter, you should try to find high ground and shoot Salmonids from afar, leaving the majority of egg collecting to your teammates with more mobility and shorter range. However, your job as a backline weapon is super important. With the E-Liter, you can one-shot almost any boss with how much damage it deals. With Hydra, it deals so much damage so quickly that it's just unmatched, and Tri-Stringer can be a bit more flexible. There are other backline weapons as well, and most of them should be focused on inking for teammates, splatting bosses, and reviving teammates. With higher painting, shorter range, quicker damage weapons, you want to be able to venture out and take out bosses that are by the shore, as well as ink the ground and walls and run lots of eggs to the basket. Sometimes you can pass eggs to teammates so that they can put eggs in the basket for you and you can continue to fight the Salmonids on the front lines. Don't hesitate to throw bombs to revive teammates if you have a short-range weapon. And building off of that, if you're the last one alive, don't be afraid to use your special. I see that too much and we end up losing. When it comes to throwing golden eggs, you can actually throw them through Salmonids. So if you want to throw an egg in the basket but there are Salmonids in the way, don't worry about it. The egg will go right through them. If you hit a flyfish right in the middle of the two flaps that open up, you'll actually be able to one-shot it with certain weapons, which is really, really important to do when there are lots of them. Use the Salmon lid to crush other Salmonids and bosses. There's nothing more satisfying than crushing several bosses at once with their own kind. During the Goldie seeking wave, look at the active gushers. The higher and brighter the gusher fountain is, the closer to the Goldie you are. So don't just go around hitting random gushers because more Salmonids will come out of them. Instead, try to just find the highest gusher and hit the ones nearby to find the Goldie. You can also tell if you're about to encounter a King Salmonid at the end of Wave 3 based on the clear jingle. Here's an example of both clear jingles. With the inkjet special, it's super important to remember that the steel eel can actually still hit you while you're in the air, so you'll want to try to boost over it or get away from it in order to avoid it. The Booyah Bomb can pierce through enemies with armor, so you can throw them at steelheads and fly fish to take them out. Wave Breaker can also pierce through a lot of salmonids, and it's really good if you're like the last person alive because the wave will go out and revive teammates for you. It's really important to learn how to substrafe and squid roll in Salmon Run because being able to move and escape and evade salmonids is super important. For more information on squid roll surges and substrafing, stay tuned for a few episodes in the future when I go over some advanced techniques. And that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed and learned something about Salmon Run. I wish you the best of luck on your next shift. The next video will be about the music of Splatoon as well as Splatfest. Until next time.